The saw has certainly added a lot of variety to my working life. It's the one thing that's actually made me travel more than anything else, I think. Because of the saw, I've performed in Italy, the States, Finland, all sorts of things.
That came about because I was getting some vox pops for Radio Manchester about like the increase in electricity prices, and vox popped him on the street, got a few vox pops off of him, and then I've had an idea for a while about doing some things with the buskers in Manchester, and so I thought, as I'm talking to a busker, why don't I ask him if I can do a video on him? And so yeah, he just said come back tomorrow, and I just went back the next day and just spent the day with him and filmed what he was doing and interviewed him. And yeah, I think a guy called Jason Wingard came down to help me interview him as well.
Yeah, well, he's an interesting fella. Tell us a little bit about the other stuff that he was doing, because he'd been building his own instruments, hadn't he?
Yeah, he basically, something we didn't touch on in the documentary is he's touring with Bjork, and he makes instruments for Bjork. And that was something I really wanted to sort of examine with him. But because he was in Manchester busking and he didn't have all his instruments with him, it didn't feel right to put him talking about the instruments he had invented for Bjork in the documentary, because I didn't have any sort of actuality to put it with. So I just mainly focused on the busking side of what he was doing.
The Morris Minor stuff, I think that's really beautifully shot. Kind of, what was his thinking on the kind of the style of the documentaries that you were making?
It was such an interesting place when I went in there, and just thought it was like going sort of back into another world, like just going back in time. Just everything in there is just amazing to sort of look at and shoot as well. And I'm happy with all the sort of shots I got, but the sound just, like I say, wasn't given enough thought really.
Yeah, I think the kind of like sound's one of those key elements you've got to get right if you want your films to look pro and feel pro. You know, what kind of things are you involved in, and what kind of stuff do you normally do? I know that you kind of like, primarily you're a camera op, is that right?
Primarily a camera operator, yeah. Trying to get more into sort of directing side of stuff as well, because I think there's a crossover between the two, I think. I'd like to sort of give it a go. But professionally, like camera operator on various projects. Yeah, just going to keep shooting and see what happens with it, I guess.